Hey there guys, welcome back to the channel. So I finally got around to checking out the latest film that is a Stephen King adaptation film called The Long Walk. It's directed by Francis Lawrence, who directed the DC film called Constantine with Keanu Reeves that came out 20 years ago. He also directed the last three of the Hunger Games movies with Jennifer Lawrence, and he also directed the prequel of the Hunger Games. When I saw that trailer when it hit in theaters, I was really intrigued by this whole concept about a bunch of like teenagers who are participating in this long walk, and they have to keep a consistency with their speed while they're walking, and only one can win this. And if you give up, and you will get shot and killed without any hesitation with these military escorts that's going to be monitoring you 24/7. And I was like, oh my God, really? This is going to add some lot of heavy shit in this movie. And I was intrigued. Then the reviews started to come out, and a lot of people were saying that this is one of the best adaptations for Stephen King. And after coming out of the theater, I completely 100% agree that this movie is incredible from beginning to end. And I love the whole cast. I think that David Jonsson, who was in another film that came out a year ago called Alien Romulus, he was the scene stealer of the whole movie, and he was the heart of it all. He was the character that was able to keep this whole group together while they're walking and they're exhausted, and they have to keep an consistency at their speed. And Cooper Hoffman, who is technically the leading character of the movie, but he is also incredible. And with him and his dynamic between the two of them was absolutely fantastic. And Cooper Hoffman, I remember his last movie that he did last year. It was called it was a biopic movie called Saturday Night, and I thought he was great. And seeing him in an ensemble movie, he's amazing, and he definitely has a little bit of a purpose to why he's participating in this horrific contest. Because you got to remember, only one can win this, and none of them are going to make it out alive, and there's no finish line. And the major, played by Mark Hamill, is the one who's leading this whole contest and keeping an eye open 24/7, and they're all being monitored 24/7 from those tanks, and they're broadcasting it to everyone around the world. And they're really, this is really more of an alternate reality dystopian world. I think this is supposed to be like a dystopian future, but this reality felt a little bit more like the 70s retro aesthetics. But I don't know. I mean, they weren't very clear on what happened and why this whole contest came to be. And this movie is basically more like a Hunger Games meets Stand By Me, which, no pun intended, that Francis Lawrence directed the Hunger Games movie, and Stephen King did the book of Stand By Me, and there's an adaptation for it. And yeah, it definitely had that vibe to it. And the whole group of these characters, I cared about every single one of them. The stakes have gotten higher the more you care about them. They added a great suspense. The body count is horrific and very disturbing to watch. There's a lot of gory, grossed out moments, and people are labeling this as a horror movie, which I don't agree. This is more of a sci-fi character drama in a thriller movie. And I thought it really worked. And yeah, there's a lot of horrific moments. Of course, it's terrifying, but it's not really a horror film. I wouldn't count this as a horror movie, in my opinion. But anyway, I thought the cinematography was definitely top notch. They did a lot of great long takes when they were walking across the country. And I loved how they were able to make me believe that these characters, one of them could not last as long as they did. Because it's very difficult to keep the consistency at that speed. It was supposed to be like a 3.3 miles. I can't remember exactly. And I remember that that Stephen King mentioned from his book version that the book version was more of a 4.3 miles, and he asked the director to cut down that from that mile because it wasn't going to work in the movie. It wasn't going to translate well. But I really cared about every single one of these characters. You really believe that they're at their own risk, because the moment you participate in this horrific contest, you're adding your death sentence, and you have to do everything you can to survive and help you get through this, because only one person can win this. And once you win, you get all the riches. So most of them are coming here out of desperation, and some of them are getting drafted into this contest. It's very sick and twisted that the way that they're handling this whole contest, and how that they're using it as the entertainment value and motivating the world to not be lazy. And I wish they would have addressed it a little bit more of the world building, but it doesn't matter. It only matters is that you're telling this story about these group of characters, and they did a great job of keeping a lot of these character depths and adding gravitas to it. And David Jonsson, I think he's absolutely amazing. He needs to get an Oscar nomination. I think he should be nominated for Best Actor. Yeah, sure, he's more of a supporting character, but really, he was more of the heart of the movie. He was the one that stole the spotlight, and he had a great scene of the monologue. And he's the one character who's more optimistic. He had a dark past, and he never let that get to him. Never let a demon soul. The whole core of the movie is about keeping your humanity, keeping within your friendship, and adding the brotherhood, and keeping people together in this dark, horrific world that surrounds you. I love that they brought that message, and it felt so inspiring. Is it a feel-good movie? No, it's not. But I still think it's definitely a movie that you should go and rush out in the theater. Sure, it's not making a lot of money right now, and because it's already been a week, and it's been out by like at least 9 to 10 days, I can't remember, but this movie came out on my birthday on a Thursday on opening day of this movie, and I couldn't believe it that this movie was going to come out on my birthday, even though it was not the best week for my birthday, because you already know what. But anyway, this is definitely it might be in my top 5 or top 3 favorite movies of the year. This movie needs to get an Oscar nomination for Best Picture. And a lot of the cinematography, the acting, and the dialogue was very sharp. The pacing was on point. I loved every moment of it. Sure, it's not a feel-good movie. I understand that. But it's a movie that you should not miss out on. It's definitely one of the best adaptations of Stephen King. And mostly with some of the Stephen King adaptation, we don't get a lot of these good adaptations. The only best ones we've had was more of the It movies, the Shawshank Redemption, the Green Mile, and so on and so forth. It almost felt like this movie could have come out in the early 90s and it still would have been a big hit at that time. But I wish you guys go out and support this movie. Yes, it's still an original film, even though it's from based off of the novel, but it's definitely a movie that you should sit through. Also, I almost forgot that Ben Wang is also in this movie. He was one of the main characters. Ben Wang, in case you don't remember him, he was in the last movie that came out several months ago called Karate Kid Legends, and I thought he was fantastic in that movie, even though the film did not live up to the expectations, but he's definitely a damn great actor that adds a lot of gravitas, and he has a lot of charisma, and he's another one of the scene stealers of that film, and I really cared about his character. I thought the chemistry of this whole group of teenagers were definitely incredible, and it was on point. I really believed it. It was natural and authentic, and yeah, they never held anything back with the body count and the gore moments, and it's very heavy, and it's very difficult to watch, and they know how to keep you on edge. They also did a screening of The Long Walk, and they had these audiences participate in the screening where you had to walk on a certain speed on a treadmill throughout the whole film. And if you give up or take a break, they'll just take you out of the theater and you'll not watch the rest of it. I wish that they would have had a screening nearby where I could participate and try to test out, seeing how long I could last during an hour and 48-minute movie. It did feel long. It didn't feel like it was an hour and 48 minutes. It felt a lot longer than that. But anyway, it didn't take away from my enjoyment of the film. This, like I said before, this could be in my top 3 or top 5 favorite movies of the year. And I encourage you to go out and see it. And I hope that we get to see Francis Lawrence direct his Constantine sequel, because he's been saying for a while that they're going to do a sequel, and we still haven't heard anything from it. And I loved what he did with Constantine, and I really liked the Hunger Games movies that he directed. Sure, Mockingjay Part 2 was the weakest that he directed, and the prequel was a big of a step up, but I thought Francis Lawrence did the best job with directing this film in particular. This is easily his best film he directed. Now, anyway, I'm going to go into my ratings. I'm going to give this movie a 9.5 out of 10. I was close to giving this movie a 10, but I thought that the ending, as much as I really liked the ending, I think the ending was a bit of a mixed bag of how this played out at the end without giving away too much. And I was like, really? Huh? But I have to really watch this movie again to really digest to what I've witnessed. But anyway, definitely go out and see when you get a chance while it's still playing in theaters. Go out and support it. But anyway, what did you think of The Long Walk? Let me know your thoughts in the comment section below. And if you like this review, make sure you hit that like button. And if you're new to the channel, make sure you hit that subscribe button and turn on the bell notification so you know when my videos are up. And if you want to follow my social media platforms, the link tree will be down in the description down below. Anyway, thank you guys for watching. I hope you guys have a great day, great evening, wherever you're from, and stay tuned for more of my content.